Who was next? Bromine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bromine is 35. Okay, so we're at 27. So now we're changing to bromine, which is 35. Okay, so I'm at 27, so we're going to keep going. So 27, 28, 29, then I'm at 30. I got to go to 35. So what comes next in my chart after 3D?
4P.
4P. How many lines go above a P?
3.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Questions? Questions about those? All right. So now we're going to do the electron configurations. And the electron configurations are a little easier because we don't have to use any of these blame arrows. All right. What are we doing? Silicon or ruthenium? Silicon's a short one. All right, so silicon has how many electrons? 14. All right, so for my absent people, we don't have to do any arrows, any lines. We're just totaling the electrons. How many electrons can go in one S? S can hold how many electrons? Total. 2. So we just write 2 there. Okay? No arrows, no lines. All right, what comes after 1S? 2S. How many electrons can go in it? So we write 2. What comes next? 2P. How many electrons can go in it? 6. So we've placed 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 6 is 10. All right, next. 3S. How many can go in there?
2.
So plus 2 is 12. After 3S, we have what? 3P. But if we put 3P and we put all 6, 12 plus 6 is 18. We don't want 18, we want what? 14. So 12 plus how many more will give us 14?
2.
So we write 3P2 to get a total of 14. Okay? And I know this is fast for Gerardo and Victor. I'm just trying to give you a summary of what we did. It's all on video. It's saved to the website. All right, so the last one was ruthenium, which is number 44. Am I right about that? 44? All right, so again, starting at the top of the chart, what do I have first? 1S, 2, 2S2, 2P6, 3S2, 3P6, 4S2, 3D10, 4P6. Have I passed it already? No, I haven't. 5S2, 4D, how many? Count across for me. 6. Questions before we do the homework? Are we good with those? Now, your quiz tomorrow. 2 dots, 2 orbitals, 2 electrons, and 2 shorthands. We just practiced, and we'll go over the homework, which practices 2 orbitals and 2 electrons. Those are the first 2 questions. There's no partial credit. You either can do them or you can't. Okay? If you don't practice them, what are the odds you're going to do them right tomorrow? It's probably not very good. All right? Now, to do the homework, tell me the first element I asked you to do so I can do it for you real quick. What? Chlorine. And I'm doing half arrows because it's faster. All right, there's chlorine. Check your answer. Because I'm going to add on to chlorine. I'm not going to keep doing them separately, although I probably ought to do them separately since we're going to use them for dot diagrams. All right, tell me what's next. Gallium. I guess I'll do them separately since we're going to use these in a minute. Yeah, let me label these as GA, CL, so I know what I have when I come back to it on the board. All right, are we good with that? Anybody have a question about GA? Those of us who did it, are we okay with that? Okay. PD. Here, give me a periodic table so I can just look at it. It's faster for me to do it if I can see it. All right, you got that? Are we all good with that? Checking our answer, and it's okay. All right, what were the electron configurations? I remember K was 1. It should end on 4s1. All right, what was next? What? Antimony, SB. 4s2, 3d10, 4p6, 5s2, 4d10, 5p3. What else? That one will just change it slightly because it was almost the exact same one. P5. Questions about anything that was in the homework? Now, those of you who didn't do it, I'm assuming you know how to do it. Okay? Those of you who did do it, do you have questions about anything? Did you get them right? Did you get them wrong? Did you talk about anything? You got them right. Okay. Well, let's talk dot diagrams. All right, so on Friday, we started talking about dot diagrams, and we had defined inner and outer shell electrons, right? All right, so now we need to talk about some examples and how to identify the difference. So, just go back to your notes from Friday so that we can talk about the differences.
So these are examples?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to use one from the homework last night. And leave a little space, not a lot, just a little. All right, so in each of those, we need to be able to figure out the inner and the outer shell electrons, okay? Because dot diagrams, like we said on Friday, only show outer shell. So in the ones that we just went over for homework, the ones we just went over in the opening, the orbital notations showed every single electron in every single orbital and every single sublevel. So they took forever to draw. Particularly those of you who drew lead, it had 82 electrons, right? I won't make you draw one that long again. If you drew the electron configurations, you had to put the total electrons in the sublevel. So still, they grew pretty long like antimonies up there, right? Well, dot diagrams are different because they only show outer shell electrons. So if you listen to me on Friday, does anybody remember what I told you the maximum number of outer shell electrons was going to be? Anybody remember? 8. We're never going to have more than 8 electrons. That is the maximum number you can have. Now, if outer shell electrons are dots, that means the maximum number of dots you can have is what? 8. So tomorrow, when I'm grading quizzes, don't write this. But some of y'all will draw a symbol. I'm just going to use an X. And some years, I get stuff like this. Okay? And I'll be honest. I show that stuff to people like Ms. Wicker, and we have a good chuckle during third period plan. I'm like, can you believe I taught this stuff for 2 days? And people gave me this. How many dots did I just tell you we could have maximum? If you don't know the answer, at least guess between 1 and 8. I mean, come on. Do not draw rings of dots when I have just told you the answer has to be between 1 and 8. Even if you don't know, guess somewhere between 1 and 8. Okay? Don't draw me 25 dots around that in a circle. So, when you look at this, on Friday, we said the outer shell was the highest energy level. So what does that mean, thinking back to what we did last week with all that crazy stuff with quantum numbers? What's the highest energy level mean? Anybody know? Want to take a guess? I know it's first period. Y'all are quiet. Second period is my guessing crowd. But what do you think it means? You want to put that on my desk for me? It's a dead period, Zaria. On my desk. It's a what? It's what?
I wasn't on my phone like at all.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, don't make yourself look guilty. Turn around and look this way. All right, so if we think about what we did last week with the quantum numbers, which one told us energy level? Highest energy level. The which one? That's fabulous, Franco. So what tells us? That's good. Love those brain cells. So what tells us the principal quantum number in the configuration? What do we think? The what? Which number? So what do we call that number? Yes. Okay. So we look up here at the coefficient. Okay. So if we look at the coefficient, all right, which one's the highest? Good, Michaela. So the outer shell is the biggest coefficient. Always. Okay? So, what is my biggest coefficient in that configuration?
3.
Yes. So, how many 3s are there?
2.
Okay. So, you got to count the 3 what and the 3 what? 3S and 3P. Good, Janai. So, this is your outer shell. Now, does anybody remember what we said the inner shell was going to be? Everything is not the outer shell. So that means all of this crap right here is the what? That's the inner. Okay? So when we look at sodium, What's the outer shell?
3S.
Look at sodium again. What's the outer shell? What'd you say, Zaria?
3S.
Just the 3S is good. Okay? This right here is the outer shell.
S still.
Oh, okay. All right. So when you look at sodium, how much of it is the outer shell this time? Just the 3S. So you always have an S and a P together. We always have an S and a P together like you did in this one. No, sometimes it might just be a singular S, like Zaria said in the sodium when she said 3S1. Okay? It's just 3S. Okay? That means all the rest of this junk right here is inner. All right? So if we look at the last one and we look at SB, all right, what's the outer shell there? Somebody other than some of the people who've talked to me, tell me what the outer shell is there. So I don't want to hear from Janiyah or Michaela or Zaria or Franco or Allie or Elijah. Somebody else tell me something. This is the outer shell. What? All right. Not just 5P. Do you see another 5, Serenity? Yeah, what is it? Okay. So when you look here, it's the 5 that tells you the outer shell. So this and this is the outer shell. Now, the reason I picked this one is I wanted you to see, are the 5s always necessarily together? No. And they can be higher than 5, by the way. Okay? But I wanted you to see the outer shell is not always together. It can be separated by some inner shell. Does that make sense? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So all we have left is how do we draw? All right. This is why you had to learn orbital notation. The dots have to be drawn like the arrows. Okay. So the dots must be drawn like the arrows in orbital notation. Only draw the outer shell. Now, I just said we have to draw the dots like the orbital notations, right? Some of you will think, oh my God, I got to draw those arrows again? No, we only have to draw the outer shell. So, what does the outer shell look like? So if we go back to sulfur, okay? So sulfur's outer shell was 3s2, 3p4. 3 looks terrible. All right, if I go back right here, y'all said 3s2, 3p4. That's why I wrote that, right? I'm not drawing the inner shell because nobody cares what the inner shell looks like. Are you with me on that?
Yes.
Y'all are just sort of staring at me. Everybody's with me? Okay. So, how does 3s2, 3p4 look like with the arrows? How many lines would we draw above 3s?
1.
How many lines?
1.
1 line. How many lines would we draw above 3p? 3. All right. Now, how many arrows do we have on 3s? How do those 2 arrows look? Up and down. I'll even draw real arrows for y'all today. Okay. How do the 4 arrows look on 3p?
2 on the first 2.
Okay, so up, 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 and so sad somebody had to do what? Somebody had to share. So when we draw our dots, they have to look the same way. Okay? So you draw the symbol for sulfur. Now, when we draw in our dots, okay, I want you to envision how many sides. How many sides are there on the box?
4.
We don't draw a box though, okay? I just want you to envision that there are 4 sides on the sulfur, okay? Envision that in your mind. So, you have 2 arrows that are paired, right? 2 arrows that are together. On one of these 4 sides, it does not matter which side, you're going to draw 2 dots that are paired, okay? I'm going to draw mine here, right? Let's say that Zaria said, nope, I want mine to be here, Miss Wall. Completely okay. Okay? Let's say that Franco said, nope, I want mine to be down there. It's completely okay. All right? You have to have 2 dots that are what? Paired. Okay? Now, I have 2 more arrows that are what? Paired. I'm going to put them here. Let's say Zaria said, I want mine to be here. Franco wanted his to be here. It's okay, because each of us have 2 sets of dots that are what? Paired. Now, these last 2 arrows are what? They're not paired. They're single arrows, right? So I need 2 arrows that are what? That are single on my diagram. So I'm going to draw 2 dots that are singles to represent my single arrows. So let's say Zaria said, I want mine here, and Franco wanted his here. They're all the same diagrams, okay? It doesn't matter how anybody draws them, as long as there are 2 sets of paired dots and 2 sets of single dots, they're all the same diagram. Does everybody see that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Everybody with me? Okay. So, if you drew this because you knew there were 6 outer shell electrons, would that be okay? No. This would be wrong. Okay? Is everybody okay with that? Okay. So, if we do the next one. The next one's really easy. How many outer shell electrons does sodium have? So its 3s would have how many arrows on that 3s line? 1. So the only way to draw its outer shell electron is how? 1 dot. Does it matter where we put that 1 dot? I could put it here. Let's say that Allie put hers here. And let's say that Xavier put his down here. Okay? They're all the same picture. It does not matter which side you put it on. Is everybody with me on that? Yes? No? Y'all are like dead. Everybody's with me? Okay. So if we do SB, last one, and then I'm going to let y'all try it. So if we do SB, how do I draw my outer shell? Okay, what symbol? SB. All right, so first, don't you think we ought to figure out the arrows? Okay, I want. So, what's my outer shell?
5S.
Okay, so what's 5S going to look like? How many lines?
Oh, wait, 1 line.
How many is 5P going to have? Okay, so how many arrows am I putting on 5S?
2,
And 5P?
3,
All separated. All right, so now to the picture that Michaela wants to draw. My symbol will have what? What symbol am I using?
SB.
SB. All right, so what am I going to draw for the 5S?
2.
All right, so 2 paired dots. All right, where do we want them? On the top, all right? And then I need what? 3 single dots. 1, 2, 3. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
Fabulous. You think you can draw some?
Yes.
All right. Now, I wanted you to use your homework to do this to make it faster. But half of you didn't do your homework. Elena, you got homework? All right. So, those of you who do have homework, do lead, since you did it, gallium, and what's another one we drew for homework that I did? CL. Thank you. Do those because you have them. And then let's do a couple that you didn't do for homework for those people who don't have it. Let's do SN and one more. A short one. Let's do P.
Can you put your chart on the board?
Write those down real quick somewhere so I can flip back to the chart. Y'all make a quick note of what those 5 are so I can flip back to the chart for Michaela.
What are you doing, Tessa?
No, you're doing, if you did your homework, you have these 3 done.
Yeah.
So it's easy to go back and do the dot diagrams. For those of you who have no homework, we're doing those 2 plus those.
We're gonna do SMP.
Sure, do SN and P too from scratch. You're doing, those of you who have homework are doing all 5. Those of you who have no homework are only doing those 2. Because I'm not waiting on y'all to do 5. All right, everybody have it?
Yeah.
So I can go back to a chart. There we go. There's the chart. Mark my lines. We're doing dot diagrams. I see your homework last night. I didn't write down. Yeah, I didn't write down a grade for you. You had it. That's what I thought. I just didn't write anything down. I left your name blank. I wanted to check before I just arbitrarily punched in 0. In case I was wrong and you did have it. That takes care of you also. Anybody have a question? Sure, right there. Yeah, they said no, but that doesn't cover everybody else. Anybody else out there have a question? Yes, my dear. You only put one on those two, and a blank line means there'll be an empty side, there'll be a blank side. Won't have a dot on that side. Who else has a question for me? Surely somebody has one. Huh?
It's new material and we might have questions.
Yeah. I'm infallible. I am human and infallible. I do make mistakes. Yes, my dear. Huh? Sure. He is right. Let's see what he does. Where's she? Got him?
What? For English? Yeah.
You can draw all the arrows. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can do all that extra work. You can show it. We talk and we that later to all that you're working on. That's eyes on so eyes conditions. That's you.
But she literally, I think part of that, like, she just threw it in there because she was too lazy to go there. Like, I gotta go into the material and freaking worksheets that don't hold me at all. Right. So basically, we're teaching ourselves to help with our crafty worksheets. Right. Thank you for being so no end. Oh, man. We all passed that.
All right, can we talk about what you came up with?
No. A little bit more time.
Okay. Check, see if I have anybody in the ISS today. Probably not getting that lucky, but you never know. Oh, by the way, it looks like the test is either going to be Friday or Monday. Because I know some of you are PS18 Wednesday, some of you have a field trip Thursday. Best guess I can give you is Friday or Monday. So that should give everybody time to figure out what they got going on.
Her and the 18th exam were so good. She took forever.
Everybody nice.
Just because it is about so because she said that's why I came out to all four periods. She said not every fourth period. Why would you cover up?
And like it's like the kids took like my fourth period, and they only took like it didn't take the period.
All right, so can we look at it now? So for those of you who did the homework, those I drew on the board earlier. So the outer shell is here. So the dots should mimic that. So chlorine would have 2, 2, 2, and a single. Gallium has 4p and 4 S's over here. So gallium would have 2 and a single. Now notice how you have 2 blank lines. What do the 2 blank lines mean? Empty sides. Okay. Now I don't know if I gave you one of those to do or not, but since there's 2 blank lines, that means 2 empty sides. Okay. So when we do lead, you have 6S, 6P. So again, 2, 1, 1, and a blank side. Okay. All right. For the 2 I asked you to do, which were 10 and P. All right. Now, a couple of you that I talked to about yours, y'all started drawing the arrows. You can do all of the arrows if you want, but it really just makes more work for all of you. You can do this in electron configuration. So for P, you could have said 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, and 3p3, and then you just draw the arrows for these. So 3s has 2, and 3p has 1, 2, 3. So phosphorus will have 2 and 3 singles. Now, the other one, which is the one that I talked to several people about because they started with 10, obviously, and they started with drawing all these arrows, and they drew 50 arrows. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. It just takes a lot of time to draw 50 arrows. P6, 5s2, 4d10, 5p2. All right, so the highest energy level here will be 5s2, 5p2. So 5s has 2, 5p has 2. So SN will have 2 dots, a single, and a single. Questions about either of those two? Do we feel okay about those? So are we okay with orbitals, dots, and electron configurations?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? Those are the first 6 questions on the quiz.
Yes.
Yes? Other than Elena, who's not been here. What about the rest of us? Yes. Serenity's nodding yes at me. What about the back of the room? Sam? Sam's nodding yes. Are you sure? Okay. Now we're going to color. We need to learn how to read shorthand. Shorthand is read from the periodic table. So we got to color. So we can learn how to read sections on the periodic table. Now, this is not going to be a museum piece. We're not spending 45 minutes coloring the periodic table. No, we're not. There are 4 sections on the periodic table, and we're going to color the 4 sections. I will not give you more than 15 minutes to color. You hear me? We're not coloring and shading each little block.
We need 4 colors.
4 colors. On the back table, you will find colored pencils. There are 2 sharpeners. You can get colored pencils from over there. You can get markers. I don't care. I just told you we were coloring the 4 parts of the periodic table. We're going to do more coloring tomorrow, precious.
Right. Like to just color it like you did.
No, I'm going to tell you how to color it.
Okay.
Okay.
I think you need to keep them.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was really on.
Oh, we. Oh, I'm sorry.
Notes. Read the pages, notes.
She gonna say,
I'm sorry for the whatever. She's now for all 5 and 6, but she missed the whole slide.
didn't we like?
We're on 4 or 5 and 6. Yeah, most of 4 or 5 and 6. I thought we already did 4. We did 4.
So why are we doing it again?
Like it's like a different folder.
All I know is those notes better not be on the quiz because she said we had to read it.
That looked like the thing.
There.
Maybe it's not pretty.
I like your coloring book, well,
Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it?
good.
Oh my gosh.
Miss Wall, since you already got a YouTube channel, you're halfway there. You should might as well just try to ASMR.
Now, don't color so dark, you cannot go back in and put in numbers, because we will have to put in numbers to go with the coloring.
Do I gotta use those colors?
Nope, you do not have to use those colors. Those are just the 4 things that we're coloring. 4 blocks, and you'll notice S, P, D, and F coordinate with, what does S, P, D, and F coordinate with?
That's something I'll do.
Correct.
Not sure if I ever seen it, but. You already know.
You might be a genius over there.
Okay.
You might just be one.
I don't know about all that, girl. Guys, it's not encouraging. Is the he up here? Okay, never mind. I'm so sorry.
What are you yelling about over there?
I'm nothing. I'm not a genius like I thought I was.
Why?
Cause you know what?
Yeah, I agree.
Please notice that helium is colored a different color than the rest of the people
Yeah,
are.
that's nuts. Yeah.
So you know the S symbol?
If you be a board that's good. That's a little piece. Where's the storage I got the these up in the back? I didn't think that was a real thing. I thought that was I just. Miss Wall, do you like your children?
What?
So do you like your children?
Most of the time, yeah.
I'm scared that I won't like my children. Oh, okay.
Let me just say, the only time period I really just still struggling with a 9th grade or something, but
Why didn't you like
You have a
that?
9th grade?
yeah. Good boy.
Everybody's so angsty in middle school for no reason.
Yeah. It's almost like they have a personality transplant.
So have you watched the documentary?
Probably because they're all horrible.
Yeah, that could be.
I haven't watched these videos.
But Shelby, I really enjoyed in high school, still do. But middle school, she could have moved out for 3 years and I'd have been happy.
My bad. Okay. It was that bad.
Yeah, it was.
I'm scared that
Although she was better than Ian. I mean, she would go in a room and stay by herself and just not interact. Ian comes out of his room and just sort of explodes on everybody. It's horrible.
I guess, see, they already know who I am, so I can't really give them away anymore. I used to be one of those parents that did get revealed as well as myself, like I thought it was like a case full of children.
I'm afraid I'm gonna be one of those parents that gender reveal the most disappointed.
That's a new thing. They didn't do that back in my day.
I want 2 girls, I do not want twins.
In that case, I'm not sure you should have a giant gender reveal and find out in front of a ton of people.
Right, you start sobbing.
Because I'll be the first to tell you, it took me a little bit to warm up to the idea.
Of what?
Because I was convinced I was having 2 girls. And I was stunned speechless when they told me I was having a boy.
Did you want a girl?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Why?
I just did.
Like, you get to, like, what do I think about? You'd be like,
No,
no.
no. I mean, my mom had 2 girls, and I just don't want a boy. I don't think I need version of me.
Oh, I don't know, I thought you were gonna say, but I think so. I want a Mini Cooper or something. That's a different situation. That's just,
I want
version
two
of you would be so
little
bad. Like,
Yes.
All right, we done?
No.
4 people. It's 4 blocks.
Okay.
It's 4 huge blocks.
I know mine is hideous, but come on.
I know you said this was supposed to be a work of art.
It's abstract.
You cannot rush to perfection.
Yeah, I can. Wait till tomorrow. I really am going to rush you.
On the quiz.
And on coloring. You have 11 things to color tomorrow.
Sweet.
It's okay if I just leave it. I love. Wait, do I have to label SPD and F?
Yes,
Oh.
and it's useless without SPD and F on it.
Oh,
Do not.
Yes. As long as you know what sublevels are what, yes. Outlining is fine. You can see I worked really hard on mine.
You did. That was good.
That's why, have you thought about getting a profession in art?
No,
Why not?
I'm pretty sure I'd flunk out.
It's
No one will hire me.
abstract. You'd be good at it.
Yeah, you don't have to be good at art.
I'm not sure I could even explain mine, so no, they're not gonna hire me.
Aw. Well, you don't need to you don't need to explain it. You just say that like the viewers are supposed to have their own interpretation. That's how a bunch of people get out of explaining their trash. You know, it's up for interpretation. No.
This marker smells so good.
Yeah, I love pumping.
No, it's just one of these scented markers and it smells good.
I inherited all these from my son, so there's no telling what it is.
In here.
Oh, Xavier, let me see your gray marker. It smells.
There's no telling what it smells like.
Oh, this one doesn't smell good.
Miss Wall,
Xavier, what's up?
I don't think
Are you
this is
what?
a scented one.
in your will.
I don't
Miss
have a
Wall.
will. If I died tomorrow, we're going probate.
Why don't you?
How do you have to be to get a will?
You can write one at any time. I probably will have one. Give
Take
out a house.
it away.
Oh, you just.
Yeah, you just write one.
Like I want to get myself.
The only
No,
color
no,
that's
no.
black like this.
I'm not dead yet, but when I am, bring me back to life.
It's
Is Walt Disney really frozen? Is that real?
Miss Wall, you stand after today?
They say they froze him.
I have no idea.
It's all you listen on X.
I don't know everything.
Oh, smelly
Miss
one.
Wall, do you know if you're staying today?
I am not. I have a department chair meeting.
Oh my goodness. I'm
The
sending you
department
your
chair does not
freaking
want
meeting.
to.
That one's lemon.
Okay, she's over there getting high off mine. That's not her.
And she's like, this one isn't scented, but it's hot.
Okay.
Hush.
I remember in middle school, people were still getting high on hands and
Oh, this one's like mint. That one tastes. This is like
That one tastes.
like a car air freshener.
Oh, they are Q-tip.
Okay, Candace. No.
Tell me what you use.
I don't even know what's
This is like. Oh, this one smells real good.
I just have
No
to.
idea.
Tell me what this is. This ain't mint.
What?
It's like that new car smell.
Yeah, it's like, what is it? Name?
It smells like.
No, we're going a different one. All right, now you need a dark color to put the numbers in. So those of you who are returning things, if you need a dark color, grab a dark color. If you're over there sniffing the markers, find one you can live with that's dark that you can sniff.
A dark one?
Yes, a dark.
Bring me
A
back
dark
the
numbers
black
in.
marker?
A dark
Hey, look, hey, look.
A dark
I hear you.
color.
You
Why don't
want
you
me
say
to
that?
Can I
You
use
can
me?
use black, you can use pen, you can
One
use
that we didn't already
some kind of bright
You want to
color,
use the
dark
dry
color.
erase? No, thank you. Is that not a Sheffield?
I don't even know who writes. I don't know if it's right over there. You can try it, let me know. If it's dried up, throw it out.
My back hurts. My legs hurt.
Thanks to you. I was trying to help you.
That's blue. I have never worked 12 hours straight again. It's never gonna happen.
You did it. I did. Don't tell.
It wasn't intentional, but it happened, and I work in Times Square. I'm done with Zaxby's. Yesterday was my last day. I'm so freaking happy. I never have to smell that chicken again.
Whoa.
Now you get to
Now you get to smell these.
I would rather smell that pizza than smell that chicken.
Your mindset will change after about a week or two.
I was gonna say that, it will.
You work there
Work.
too, Janiyah? Oh, you work there too?
We're good.
Alright, so if we look at the picture, alright? If you haven't finished shading, finish. Now, we're gonna put in some numbers. Alright? The numbers are the important piece after you've learned where S, P, and D and F are. Now, this and the one we're coloring tomorrow are your notes. You cannot, everybody hear me use the word not,
It's not.
No.
use this on a quiz or a test.
You cannot.
I will give you a periodic table you can write on and label up all you want, okay? But you have to learn where the numbers and the colors are on this periodic table. Now, these that we just labeled were the sublevels. So these two rows were what sublevel? The middle section right here is, this section right here is P, and this is F. Now, putting in the numbers. The energy levels are what we're writing in, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
We just drawing it on the outside like that?
Yeah. Essentially, we're putting in the numbers that go in front of the S, P, D, and F based on the way we've learned them, okay? So, when we fill in for P, now, some people like to write a 1 here because this was what color? Was it S or P over here?
Yes.
That was S, so they like to write a 1 there for S. I typically don't, but some people like to, so I give you that option. I prefer to start labeling here because this is what block? P. P starts at what number? So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
So we don't write the one.
You don't have to. You can if you want to because this is what block right here for helium. S. And some people like to write the 1 for S. All right. I don't, but some people do. So I'm giving you that option. Now, for D. D starts at what number? Anybody remember?
3.
So 3, 4, 5, and 6.
You have to rewrite it all.
Huh? You write it right there at the beginning of D. So it's sort of between CA and SC. Now, the last block is F. So what number can the F sublevel have?
4.
That's right. So we have 4 and 5. Good, Franco.
What?
The F sublevels, first number, the first number that F can have is what?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
A 4.
But why aren't they going to 7?
Huh?
Why aren't they going to 7? You know, whatever we try to say, they all go to 7.
Yes, but remember, I don't remember, maybe it was second period that asked me that. Technically on the chart, we could actually erase, you know how it comes straight down? I could actually erase that bottom right-hand corner because we're never going to have 6F or 7F. It's just easier not to erase down there and go straight down because it's easier for y'all to draw. Okay? rather than teaching you where to stop the chart because it doesn't exist. Okay? All right, does everybody have it? Yes? No? Okay. Tell me when you got it. Now, this chart essentially mimics the chart that we learned to draw with the arrows. All right? Now, before you all tell me I'm not going to learn how to do it this way, I like the other way. If you've paid attention, don't draw this on your chart. I have purposefully not given you any electron configurations to draw in those 4 spots. The reason is the arrow chart that we've learned to read will not read correctly in those 4 spots. So you have to learn to read the periodic table to be able to do any configurations in those 4 spots. Okay? You see where I drew these lines? All of the elements in this range, and these 2 rows will not work with that arrow chart that I've taught you to read so far. Okay? So you have to learn what we're getting ready to do in order to do that. I'm going to show you that. Now, before we can do shorthand, though, we're going to learn how to read this chart. Now, do not write your examples at the top of your chart like I'm getting ready to do, because tomorrow you're going to find the amount of stuff I'm going to put on the next periodic table becomes rather jumbled, and you might want to come back to this table and add some things, okay? So your examples might be better in your notebook or even on the back of this chart, okay? But you might find that flipping is a pain in the butt, so if you want to put your examples in your notes. So let's say that we write shorthand notation for aluminum, okay? Aluminum has 27 electrons, but we don't even need to know that. Aluminum is right here where I just colored in blue, okay? Don't color it in blue on your table either. Now, we read this periodic table exactly like you read the pages of a book. You start on the left side, you read left to right. When you get to the end of the line, you drop down to the next line and go back to the left, right? Read across, drop down to the next line, back to the left. So read this table the same way. So what is the first number we see on the top line, left side? 1. So we write 1. What is this block called? This is block called?
Hydrogen.
Yes, S. Okay, the block, S block. Okay, now how many elements are in the S block? 1, 2. Helium is the second one in the S block. Hydrogen is first. This one is second. So 1s, 2. When I get to the end of this row, where do I go?
To the 2.
Back over here to the next line, back on the left side. What number do I have?
2.
What block is this? S, P, D, or F?
S.
It's the S block, so we write S. How many elements do I have in the S block? 2, so I write 2. Now I'm right here. Where do I go?
Across.
Across. We read all the way across to the left. What do I see next? 2. What block is this? What block is this? How many elements do I have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Once I get to the end, where do I go?
Back to the
Drop down a row. What number am I?
3.
What block is this? How many elements do I have? So I write 2. I'm almost to aluminum. Keep going across. What do I have?
3.
What block?
P.
You count the elements you're doing.
1.
3P1. Now,
That's right.
when I add up my numbers, I should total what?
27.
2, 4, 10. I wrote 27 like an idiot.
Is that
Ms. Wow,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry for the interruption. May I see some mantra tune and
Yes.
guidance, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
I wrote the mass. It's 13. 13 electrons. I'm so used to doing masses, I just wrote the mass. It's 13 electrons.
your turn on? I wrote it again.
Just scratch it out. I know. It's a horrible one. Yes, the tape gun. Do you know how to use the tape gun?
Yes. Wait, what was it? Yes.
right, so 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 6 is 10, 12, 13. All right, so you can double check yourself. Questions?
Wait.
She gave you free food and you're going to complain about not having a condiment?
No, I said and ketchup.
Oh, and ketchup.
I remember Mrs. Ketchup. Like, you drink it from the back.
She's really impressed that you gave her ketchup over there. All right, can we do another one? All right, let's do a longer one.
Ms. Wow, I'm sorry. I also need to see Zaria, Isaac, and Gaddis. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's do silver. All right. So if we look at silver, all right, starting at the top, what number do we have? We're going here. It's 47, I think.
I'm not gonna write it since you said.
Let me look. 47, I'm right. All right, so what's the first number we see? And what block? How many? Okay. So once we get here, where we go?
Wait.
We wrote 1, S block, 1, 2. We're right here. Where do we go?
Back to 2.
Back to 2. What do we have?
2.
How many?
1, 2,
So what block am I writing?
2. Wait, what?
What block is it?
S.
We're going here.
Which element is that?
Silver. It's AG. So we've got 2.
S.
What block?
S.
And how many elements do we have?
1, 2.
Okay. Other than Michaela, who's yelling out the answers, are the rest of you guys with me or are you completely lost?
Because I need to know the number.
47. We've already said it.
Okay, no.
All right. We're here. Where are we going from there? To the other 2. What block is it? And how many elements do we have?
6.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So from there we go where?
3.
3. What block?
S.
How many?
2.
Okay. From there, we're over here. We have what?
3.
What block? And how many? All right. We're here. So we have what?
4.
What block?
S.
How many?
2.
All right. And then we hit this 3. So we have what? 3 what?
D.
3 D. And then how many are right here in this D? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh.
So 3D 10. And then we're right here and we have what?
4.
4
P.
P.
6.
And we're right there. We're still not there. So where are we going? 5 P. How many? Whoops, wrong one.
Yes.
5S. I was looking over there. 5S. How many?
2.
Okay, and then I hit this 4, and I have what block? And then I have 9. We agree with Allie.
Yes.
All right, you think you can try one?
Yes.
I couldn't.
All right.
But
So let's say that you guys do chromium, and we're going to do tellurium. Chromium and tellurium. Then we're going to talk shorthand. No, this is not. Shorthand will not start at 1S.
how is it David Miss Wall?
They're fine so far.
That's good.
Wait, so this isn't even shorthand?
No, shorthand is going to start with an open gas.
Tell me the kind of number.
CR.
What?
4. We're.
I forgot what it's called. The
Yeah.
one that she, that tea drink.
52?
Okay.
Wait, chromium is 24?
Yeah.
And the other one is what? 52? What's the element? T. T. Equals 42? 52? I don't remember. What is it?
Okay. I'm not saying we should start a riot.
You know, we're dealing with things.
Thank you. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
And given that we will probably not finish shorthand, given the time it is, it means this quiz will be Wednesday. And it will be the first quiz of our new quarter.
Wait, so the quiz is not tomorrow?
We're not gonna make it.
Well, are you staying after?
I will not be here until
Oh,
Wednesday
you
and
already told me
Thursday.
that.
I have
Okay,
to-
well, are you staying for lunch?
Possibly. But I don't do a lot of tutoring during lunch.
I mean,
Typically,
yes.
lunch is more about makeup work. My planning is for planning.
I'm so bored, man. That laugh is really Okay, what about you?
I just said my planning is for planning.
Wait,
I'm not doing tutoring during lunch.
no, I'm not talking about lunch. I'm talking about Tuesday. Are you staying after?
I just said I was staying Wednesday and
I
Thursday.
didn't hear that either. This is funny,
D,
Like your dog.
10.
There you go.
1, 2, 3. I'm okay. Nope.
Can I put these markers up now?
1, 2.
Miss Wall?
What?
Can I put up the marker?
Yep.
1,
Yeah, we won't color anymore today.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4.
What you got going on?
Oh,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah?
With me, happy. Why do all these teachers have letter names? Wait.
Letter
names.
Oh my God, I got
We have
Miss B
never
next
called her
year.
your stuff.
I got Miss B next year. What was I saying? Oh, crack. It was one crack. Crack.
Did you just ask this wall?
Even if I had, you really think I would admit that?
I don't see why not. We're all. Who put a snitch? Me.
I know, I haven't.
You haven't? Oh, have you ever,
Like that's a lie.
have you ever smoked a cigarette? Okay.
For real?
My bad.
Completely boring.
That's so good. That's what I'm talking about right there. People need to look after you. That's secret smoking.
Alright,
Right.
let's look at what you came up with. So, for CR, what do you have? 1S, 2, 2S, 2,
2P.
6, 3S, 2, 3P, 6, 4S, 2, 3D, 4. Okay, so for the last one,
Wait.
Chromium.
starting at 1S, 2,
We get the
2S, 2, 2P, 6, 3S, 2, 3P, 6, 4S, 2, 3D, 10, 4P, 6, 5S, 2, 4D, 10, 5P, 4. Now, let's talk shorthand for a minute. Now, shorthand does not start at 1S, people. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of starting at 1S.
What is this called?
Same thing you were doing, it was an electron configuration.
I wrote shorthand.
All right, let's talk about what shorthand is. Shorthand notation is often called, yes, notes. Yes.
It's a color.
Can it be a coloring page?
No, it's also called noble gas notation. Okay? Now, we're going to color a noble gas tomorrow. But for today, okay, since you don't have a periodic table in front of you, the noble gases are that column. Okay? That very last column are the noble gases. So, shorthand notation puts a noble gas in brackets. And then you write the remaining configuration after the closest noble gas. Okay? So, you don't start at 1s. All right? You write the rest of the configuration after the closest noble gas. We're going to write one.
Thank you.
We're going to write one for the one you just did to illustrate the difference because you have it in your notes.
Okay, that's because you took speed this morning. That's not my problem. Speed.
Now, we're going to use the two that you just wrote to illustrate the difference. Okay? So the two that we just did were what? TE and CR, right? Okay. So looking at the periodic table, does everybody have it? So if we go back to the periodic table, TE is right here. Okay? What is the closest noble gas? Well, we can't go to XE because we'd have too many electrons. We need the one before it. So go to the end of the row and go back one. So KR. Okay? So we're going to write KR in brackets. Now we write the rest of the configuration. We're at the end of the row. So we go where? Down one row. What number is here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so what number is here? 5. What block is this? How many elements do we have? 5s2. 4. What block? What block is this? D. How many do I have?
10.
And then 5. What block?
P.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's shorthand.
That was so cool.
And that's a whole lot less writing. All right, if we go back and do CR. CR is here. To the end of the row, and up one would be what? AR. All right. We'd be here. What do we have?
4S2.
3D.
10.
We're going to CR.
Oh, 4.
That's it. That's shorthand. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Homework. All right. 3 dot diagrams. Let's do CA. Let's do AS. And let's do AL. Let's do shorthand for S. Let's do shorthand for GE. And let's do shorthand for SE. That's it. Nice and easy. Now, we haven't done all of shorthand, which is why we can't do the quiz. We have to learn how to do that weird stuff at the bottom, which is harder than normal shorthand. Okay? Let me take a picture of it so I have it for the website.
What? FaceTime me so you can cheat. No.
Xavier's not going to cheat.
Right.
He's above that, right?
Right.
That's right. He's above that.
I did my homework.
At least I'm going to pretend you are anyways.
Right.
Right.
It's on
You are.
I'm cheating no more.
No more. I like that. No more. That Janiyah. No more. Is that something that started today?